Good evening, viewers. You are watching Vision TV Live, and this is our weekly news with me, Fatmata Jawara. In the headlines, Mahdi says charges against him politically motivated. NACA orders 7 training institutions to close. Government confirms appointment of executive coordinators in KM and Banjul. National Assembly mislead about former president's bill. Barrow says he has nothing personal against Jammeh. Those are the news headlines. Do stay tuned for the news in detail. Welcome back. National Assembly mislead about former president's bill. The spokesperson of the opposition United Democratic Party has said the National Assembly was misled by the Justice Minister on the controversial former president's bill, which was passed with majority of the opposition members walking out. Speaking to the Standard, Almami Fandental also said though Jammeh's crimes must effectively deny him any post-presidential largesse, this bill does not prohibit him from benefiting. The Justice Minister didn't rely on the laws of the country. In other countries, his action will be considered misleading the parliament. You cannot go to the National Assembly as the chief legal advisor of the government and say things on a hypothetical basis or on a hunch, he said. Mr. Tal, a lawyer and former judge of the High Court, said a relevant question to ask is whether Jammeh will benefit under the enhanced law going by the bill as drafted. The answer is a resounding yes. Jammeh is entitled to all these benefits as a former president. Modern legislatures have evolved the good governance practice of public consultations with key stakeholders before legislation is made by carving out time for comments and recommendations from the public, he said. The UDP spokesman said everyone knows Jammeh has been indicted by the Commission of Inquiry and the TRRC. A U.S. court relied on the Jammeh Commission report to forfeit his property, but unless and until you are before a court and there is a bill of indictment saying that you are accused of so and so, your rights are preserved under all the laws, especially a new law that has all these facts before it and does not indict them into its own definition. I think this is very ingenious. I think the NAMs have been taken for a ride. Of course, we don't want this to be a political football. But the ministers, the president, and the vice president cannot mislead the public, especially when issues like this are discussed in parliament, he added. So Jammeh is the only living former president, and this law is for him. If it was not, why the need for a certificate of urgency, he argued. Tal argued that the minority caucus of the National Assembly should consider making recommendations along the line for better laws, merely reacting to the agenda of the executive branch of the government, no matter how well articulated, is not a substitute for having a clear vision and the strategies thinking necessary for the transformation of our nation, he stated. He added that the minority caucus should consider adopting innovative strategies in the National Assembly based on the standing orders, the Constitution, and other laws of the Gambia, and where these are not adequate or helpful to that end, they should seek to amend them with a view to strengthening democratic governance and ensuring that the National Assembly has more autonomy of action and initiative, not just a rubber stamp house and talks up, he said. Tal said Jammeh must pay for his crimes. The country's transitional justice process is a bundle of contradictions because while a lot of time and money are being expended to ensure fair trial for Jammeh-era crimes, at the same time the government is paving the way for Jammeh's return respectability by augmenting the terms and benefits of former presidents. It is an open secret that the Gambia has only one living past president whose heinous crimes and gross human rights violations have been laid bare by the TRRC, Tal said. On the former president's party, the APRC, Tal said the party is divided and cannot stand. The Speaker of the National Assembly is the official leader of one fraction alongside his deputy. The two played significant roles in plunging the Gambia into a political impasse in 2017. However, according to the alliance, the other fraction that won all seats in Fonyi is said to be closer to the dictator. So let's be clear about this matter. APRC, in whatever combination, is a district party in the West Coast region, he emphasized. Therefore, Tal added, whatever they are cooking up, APRC is a spent party, and its population should not be overestimated, especially now that the victims of the 22 years of dictatorship can speak for themselves loud and clear. He said as the most victimized political party of the Jammeh regime, the UDP must never condone, enable, or stay silent about the despicable crimes of the Jammeh's dictatorship. Mahdi says charges against him politically motivated. Activist Mahdi Jobate, who was arrested and released last month, was charged with seditious intention, incitement to violence, and false publication and broadcasting when he reported to the police. The Westminster Foundation country representative was initially released on a bail bond of $10,000 secured by one Gambian authority and has been reporting to the police headquarters since then. Speaking to the Standard shortly after leaving the police, Mahdi Jobate said, "The police have charged me with 3 counts: seditious intention, incitement to violence, false broadcasting, and information. My bail has been extended to November 23rd. They have refused to hand over my phone." He said he denied the charges in his cautionary statement. "I find these charges to be ridiculous because I have not committed any of those offenses. So for me, this is just persecution. As a citizen who has the right guaranteed by the Constitution to have an opinion and to express an opinion about my government, my president, and any other public institution. The article in question has nothing in it that relates in any way to violence, sedition, false information, or broadcasting," he said. He argued that the police are merely executing the orders of the president to silence his critics, and he happens to be one of those critics. So basically, this is political work, but this is not police work. The police should not have been involved in this matter at all, and I should have never been called by the police or arrested by the police. It is rather unfortunate for something like this to be happening in our country again. Charges like seditious are undemocratic. They shouldn't exist in any democratic country, he said. Jobate said if the president or the government disagree with any citizen's opinion about its conduct and performance, it is for them, including the president, to come and give clarification or refute that opinion. So for me, what the police are doing is once again bringing back what was here to generate fear, harass and intimidate citizens in order to silence them for the purpose of shielding the government from accountability, and that is the definition of dictatorship. I think we should be hugely concerned and worried because what is happening to me today could happen to anybody tomorrow, he said. Government confirms appointment of executive coordinators in KM and Banjul. The Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Lands, Regional Administration and Religious Affairs, Safi Sankare Faraj, has confirmed that Gambia government appointed executive coordinators for Banjul and Kanifi municipality. According to the PS, Wan Bakare Singate of Dibakunda has been appointed executive coordinator for Kanifi municipality to be deputized by Musa Amul Nyasi of Biam, a former National Assembly member for Fonyi Councillor, while in Banjul, Ibrahim Asao, a former aspirant for mayor, has been appointed executive coordinator. The Standard could not reach out the two executive coordinators, but Deputy Executive Coordinator of KM Amul Nyasi acknowledged receiving his appointment letter and vowed to do his best to meet the expectation and requirement of the new position. It is not clear what the role of the new position could be, but in December last year, President Adam Barrow announced he will appoint governors for Kanifi municipality and Banjul to put a halt to what he described as efforts undermining his government's program. But a few days after the president's announcement, lawyer Lamin J. Dabo told online media platform Kerfatu that the president does not have any constitutional powers to appoint governors for Banjul and Kanifi municipality. NACA orders 7 training institutions to close. The National Accreditation and Quality Assurance Authority, NACA, has issued a directive for the immediate closure of 7 training institutions for failure to regulate their registration and accreditation licenses. Schools ordered to close are A&A Financial Training Center, Batukunku Nurse Assistant Training Center, Kamsi Technologies Limited, MJ Hair Dressing, Express Beauty Salon and Skill Training Center, Gambia Girls Guide Association Skill Training Center, House of Skills Training Center, and SEMA Vocational Training Institute. According to the regulatory body, these institutions have been operating with expired registration and accreditation licensing, which violates the NACA Act 2021. NACA stated that a total ban has been placed on recruitment of students by the said institution, and they must not engage in any form of advertisement as training institutions and should not engage in any clandestine delivery of education or training-related activities. It further warned that individuals or entities dealing with these mentioned institutions on education and training-related matters should do at their own risk. NACA was established as an Act of Parliament in 2005 with a mandate to provide policies and guidelines, monitor and oversee the quality assurance practice of tertiary and higher education institutions, issuance and revocation of licensing to higher educational institutions, trainers, assessors, and verifiers in tertiary education institutions, among others. Barrow says he has nothing personal against Jammeh. President Adama Barrow has told visiting members of former President Yahya Jammeh's family that, as an individual, he has nothing personal against him and had in fact tried to reconcile with him without success. Jammeh's family, led by former parliamentarian of Fonyi Jarol Alaji Jammeh, on Sunday met President Barrow at State House to show appreciation for the visit he accorded them in 2021. The president said government operates on principles, and even though he cannot change government's decision, he still cherishes the desire to accord mutual respect between him and Jammeh. So I think we should end our difference because I see Jammeh's family as my family, he added. Barrow said Jammeh has brought a lot of development in the Gambia during his presidency, and if anything bad happens to the country, all that he built will be destroyed. President Barrow went on to disclose how he intervened to stop the eviction of Jammeh's family from his home in Kanilai, despite that being part of the properties seized by the Janneh Commission. They wanted to evict his family from the compound, but I say no, it will not happen under my presidency. If I haven't intervened, his family would have been evicted a long time ago. So I am trying my level best to ensure friendship and good family relationship continue between myself and Jammeh. I cannot stop government's decision, but the relationship between us and our respect for the former president should be something that we all embrace, he said. Barrow said a similar thing happened in the case of Saul Baji's house, where his mother resides. Barrow told the Jammeh family that no situation is permanent, and he is always aware that one day he will become a former president, and therefore he would like the same respect he accorded to Jawara and Jammeh be given to him. He told the family that their visit is good for the country's national security. When I went to Kanilai, it was not in my plans to go visit Jammeh's family, but I said to myself that it would not be nice to come all the way to Kanilai and not visit Jammeh's family. There was a lot of noise about my visit there, with some saying I should not go there. But I have no fight with Jammeh, he said. Barrow retarded that the presidency is no one's monopoly, and when destiny decided any day, it will come to an end. He added that he is not responsible for the end of Jammeh's presidency. It is God who ended it. As everyone knows, Jammeh was one of the most powerful presidents in West Africa. Even today, his power can still be seen. There are some of his cards here that we are afraid of using, the president teased. He said to understand Jammeh's situation is to realize that he was not prepared that someone will be able to remove him, especially a businessman like me. He was caught by surprise, Barrow said. That brought us to the end of today's bulletin. I was your presenter, Fatmata Jawara. Thank you for watching with us. Do have a great weekend.